Hi guys, so here's another tip for tackling food related issues over this crazy time of year when we are just tempted up to the eyeballs with excess yummy foods, sweet foods, foods that really don't deserve the title food half the time. We need to start understanding about how we can support ourselves to make better choices as opposed to beating ourselves up when we make less than optimum choices on our nutrition. Now, something that I wanted to share with you today was this idea of deprivation and the idea that when we deprive ourselves of access to something, we create a desire for it. Now, from a behavior analytic point of view, this is actually linked to economics, and there is a science behind this. It's behavioral economics, and it works in exactly the same way: supply and demand. If you restrict the supply, the demand increases. And this has, detrimental effects on us because not only do we not fully understand this when it concerns food, but we then become very emotional about it, and we become emotional about our decisions and about things that do not support us to make changes or make adjustments. So something that I share with my clients is that idea of giving yourself an allowance. So if you're trying to cut back on something, if you're trying to reduce or minimize consumption of something during the holidays, actually agree with yourself on how much you can have. Now, again, think about it in terms of what you are currently consuming. Because another thing you've got to bear in mind is, you don't want to agree a certain amount of food and it's just totally ridiculous. It's not going to satiate you, or it's not going to satisfy your desire. Like for example, with me, one piece of chocolate is just totally unrealistic. In fact, I'd rather have nothing, because once you've got the taste for it, you want more than one piece. So be realistic about it. What do you normally consume when you have access to that food, and what is a realistic goal for you to aim for during the season? So when you're going to be out partying, you're going to be out socializing, you might say, for example, okay, I'm allowed one piece of cake, I'm allowed a donut, I'm allowed 5 pieces of chocolate. Have that clear in your mind, because what you don't want to be doing is going into that sort of environment with the idea that willpower will stop you eating. Don't get me started on willpower. And don't beat yourself up because apparently you don't have it, because actually it is a construct. It doesn't exist. And we need to be clear about what is actually driving our behavior. It's not willpower. Believe me, we're going to reframe that. It's desire, it's clarity, it's understanding your behavior, it's knowing what you want and what you don't want and being clear about it. So have a think about that idea that you don't want to deprive yourself, you want to set yourself an allowance, and that is what you're going to stick to. Don't overestimate or underestimate it. Look at where you are now, look at what normally you can handle, and work around that. So I hope that helps. All of these things are tips that I have practiced on myself, that I have found successful. They are all grounded in behavioral science to some degree. They all have a strong basis on appreciating that behavior is not random. It's not wild and unstoppable or uncontrollable. Once we understand what drives our behavior, we're trying to gain pleasure and avoid pain. It's as simple as that. We're going to have a much better chance of making better choices and making sustainable changes to our lifestyle. Enjoy New Year's and catch up with you soon.